Sit is probably one of the first commands we teach our dogs.
Yet it can also be one of the trickiest. There are methods of teaching your dog that could permanently injure your Chihuahua, and methods that don't always work. In this episode, we'll be going over 3 effective ways to train your dog to sit, and one way you should never use on a Chihuahua.
So first, let's talk about the ways that can really hurt your pup.
When I was growing up, the general method for teaching your dog to sit was to yank up on the collar and push down on the butt. This forced the dog into the sit position. Times have changed. While dogs do eventually learn this means sit if you do it enough, this is the version of learning to sit that may permanently injure your dog. Chihuahuas have very delicate throats, so much so that it's even recommended to only walk them in a harness, never a collar. Just walking them in a collar can lead to a collapsed trachea. If just walking them in a collar is potentially damaging, imagine yanking on it. On the other end of the dog, Chihuahuas also have delicate knees, prone to a condition called slipping patellas. We probably don't want to drop an anvil on their hips to see if those knees can hold it up. So if we're not yanking up on the collar and pushing down on the butt, what's the best method for teaching a Chihuahua to sit?
The easiest method for dogs, and people too, is the luring method.
You're going to take a treat and, starting at the tip of the dog's nose, guide the treat over his face and between his ears. The goal is to make their dog tip their head back to get the treat. Most dogs sit when they tip their head back. You praise them and give them the treat. After 2 or 3 sessions of doing this, your dog will probably auto-sit at the sight of the treat, and you can name the cue. Voila! Your dog knows how to sit.
For those laughing at this, there's a reason why it's most dogs and not all dogs.
Some dogs are pretty creative about accessing the treat. They back up, they jump in the air, they move side to side. They literally do anything but sit to get the treat. If your dog is mainly backing up, training in the corner of the room reduces their options, so they may try a sit, but for the rest of the dogs out there, it may be easier to try a different method.
Another option for training your dog is capturing. Let's take a look.
If your dog sits naturally all the time, just not when you ask, capturing is an easy method to teach your dog what sit means. You'll need a clicker, and the clicker should be loaded. We have a great video on loading the clicker already on our channel if this is unfamiliar to you. Simply string that clicker around your neck and watch your dog as you go about your day. Right when your dog starts to sit, click that clicker and toss them a treat. After a few clicks, your dog will crunch some numbers in their brain and realize they get the treat right as they're sitting every single time. They'll start offering you sit to see if this is what you're looking for. Great! Click and treat each time and then start putting a cue on it. They've learned how to sit on cue. Some dogs just don't sit very often. They stand around a lot or go straight from stand to sploot. For these dogs, approximation is a long road but often results in a stronger cue. You will also need a clicker for this one. Remember how we lured the dog with a treat before? We're going to try this again, but instead of hoping for a complete sit, we're going to watch and see if those knees bend even a little bit during the dancing and prancing. The second there is the slightest bend in the knee, click and reward that. Reward every bend of the knee until your dog is bending their knees every time during a training session, even if it looks more like the cha-cha than a sit. When they're consistently doing that, start ignoring the more shallow bends and reward only the deeper bends of the knee. Keep selecting for the deepest knee bends until the knees are all the way bent and your dog's booty is on the floor.
We recommend this one last because, frankly, it takes forever.
And it's not always easy to see which prance leads to something closer to a sit. Approximation does have its benefits, however, in that a dog who learned to cue in small bits like this tends to have a stronger sit overall compared to those who didn't. Regardless of how your dog learns, there's more than one path to sit. Now your dog should know to do this when they hear the word sit. While the cue is learned, the real work has only just begun. In order for your dog to be willing to sit for longer than it takes for their butt to touch the ground, and for them to do so in exciting situations, you'll have to proof the command. We'll talk about how to proof the command in a later video, but you can work on it right now by checking out our blog articles linked in the comments below. Happy training!